Hey everyone, it's Dan Charles with Lite Forex. It is Saturday, June 6th. I'm going to break down the major Forex pairs, starting with the Australian USD. Please subscribe to the channel and go to the link in the description below this video. Alright, let's take a look at the Australian USD. Okay, so I've been waiting for a pullback, but we keep hitting support. We're not breaking the area where I want to take a short position, and it just is strong. It just keeps going up and up and up. Now we do have some resistance at 0.7 thousand last day. You can see here it really is inevitable that we get that pullback, but as long as we're holding the open and closes from previous days, then we're good. So the open yesterday was 69.42. The open the previous day 69.20. Let's see if those prices can hold. But you got to see that resistance off of 7,000 and assume we're going to be getting close to that pullback, because this is just going straight up. And since early in the week, I've been waiting for the pullback, but it's not taking out the levels that I'm waiting for it to really confirm. So if it's just going to keep going up and it's not going to take out those stops, then we let it keep going. But it is due for that pullback. You look at the weekly chart here, big breakout. It's ready to come back. But price can just keep going up and up and up if it wants to. You can remember, if we go back a bit, we had a big collapse over here on the Australian USD, and you can see this was just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and I was waiting for the rebound, and it was rebounding. You could see it was coming up. It was coming up. The upper wicks was coming up, but it just, the pressure was strong to the downside. Here on this move, it isn't quite as big as that move, at least in this initial move, but you can just see here the moves here: breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, small little breakout, but then a pullback, and then we finally take out these levels here. We pull back, we break out, a little bit of a red pullback here, but now we've just been straight up. So look for that pullback. It is coming. Let's take a look at the Euro USD. Look at the Euro USD. So we initially got a good signal here on May 26th, and since then it's just been breaking out. Now, when I've been calling for pullbacks, price has been holding the levels that I've been saying, 1.12. I was waiting for that 1.12 to really get taken out, and then I was going to look for the short, but it held that low, hitting 11.95, and then just starting to turn around. So it did dip below it by a few points, but then it just started turning around, and then I knew it was going to keep going. So this really looks to me like it's topping out. I would be surprised if we don't come down on Monday. This is a very, very bearish candle. You can see the resistance at 1.13.5. Look for this to come back. Let's take a look at the Euro Futures. Euro Futures, so 1.12.5 is still holding. But yeah, you can see that resistance at 13.5. Yeah, it's just whenever you're going straight up, you will be pulling back. We're just waiting for the pullback. So I'm going to keep waiting for the pullback. Pound USD, same type of thing. It was holding levels. So when this pulled back on Thursday, it held this very important level right here, which was the open on the 2nd of June, which was 1.2489. It came down and held that price. I was waiting for it to bust through that price, because if it busted through that price, that's where I would have took my my short or my sell position. But it just came down, turned right around, and kept going back up. So then the next day I was putting levels at the previous opens, and it came down and held those lows for Friday, kept going up. So it's a strong move. We do have some resistance at 1.27, bit of an upper wick here. So it did take out these most recent highs where we had pullbacks. But it's the same type of thing. I really think that the pullbacks are coming. So let's take a look at the pound futures. Similar type scenario. You can see that resistance off of 1.27. Yeah, we're ready for the pullback on these. And then when this pulls back, it's going to be like 2-3 days of a pullback. So look for that. But of course, if we keep breaking out strong and we're holding price levels, then you just got to let it ride. You got to let it move, let it go. I'll give you an example of that with this one as well. New Zealand USD. So it held all these levels throughout this move. I was looking at this pulling back as early as Tuesday, but my prices weren't getting triggered for me to take a short position, so I was just letting it keep going up. So you can see here on the 3rd, broke out. So I put in the 64 as the support. If it broke 64, I would have been ready to sell, but it didn't. It hit a low of 64.04 and then just kept going back up. The next day, I put in a 64.5 level that if that got taken out, I would have sold. But it just kept on going up. It held that support level. And now you can see we have some resistance at 65. And it's a very bearish candle. We're just going straight up. This definitely looks like it's ready and ripe for a pullback, but it's been looking like it's ready to pull back really since Wednesday. But it's been holding those levels. So what I would do in this case, I'm still using this as the level to hold, 64.50. 0.6450 I want to see hold. If that holds and it continues going higher and we take out 65 resistance, then I'll let it continue to go. Sometimes things just want to keep going up and up and up as well. And so let's let it happen if it's going to happen. Let's take a look and see what the futures are looking like, the New Zealand futures. So yeah, you can see that resistance off of 65 on here. Of course, it did go higher than 65. It hit a high of 65.30 but pulled back, but it's really that 65 that it's closing below is showing that resistance. So right here is 64.59. I'd want to see that price hold if I'm still looking to be bullish. Okay, USDCAD. Now USDCAD's another one. So through this drop, I had a trigger for 1.3575. If price broke above that price, then I was going to be a buyer. But it held on the 3rd and dropped more. Of course, it didn't even come close to it the next day, and then Friday it really came down and dropped, and we're also having some resistance at 35. So that's actually the first price I would want to see cross next trading day. I'd want to see this break back above 1.35, but then ultimately I want to see it take out this 35.75 price, and then I'd be very confident of a rebound if those prices start getting triggered. So yeah, the first one's 1.35. Long lower wick. You can see this one. The US dollar is just very, very weak right now. 1.34 is the support. Let's see if this bounces. Let's see if it bounces. Let's take a look at the Canadian dollar, because the Canadian dollar is going to be moving in the opposite direction. So you can see the Canadian dollar breaking out. Long upper wick. last day. Support is at 74. So if 74 breaks next day, in conjunction, of course, with the USDCAD breaking above those resistance levels discussed, then I'm pretty confident that the Canadian dollar will be pulling back as the USDCAD is going higher. So look for that. Okay, USD yen. Now USD yen, I was saying I wanted to see this bust through that resistance. We were still showing resistance when I made the video on the 3rd, on the Wednesday. We hit a high of 108.98 that day. Next day, we pulled back and we finally busted through and closed above. It's always about where you close. So it closed above 109, so I was pretty confident we would still take off from there. And we also held the support. So the low yesterday was 109.03, and then it pulled up. So you know that was the support that needed to hold 109 because it was the resistance. What becomes resistance, what was resistance becomes support. What was support can end up being resistance. Long upper wick, this does look like it's ready to pull back, but as long as it holds 109, it can still keep going. So if this comes down, hits 109 or hits 109.05 and then starts breaking back up, then I'd be more bullish, but it really does look like it should come down. Let's take a look and see what the yen futures are looking like. Yeah, big move down. You can see here the low, the support at 0.0091. There it is. 0.0091 thousand. You can see the support off that price. Look for this to bounce up as the USD yen pulls back. Okay, that's the breakdown for Saturday, June the 6th. Please subscribe to the channel and go to the link in the description below this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.